Shalom, Israel. Want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWAHSHI, BAHASHAM, Rakah, Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops at Great Millstone. And peace and salutations and peace and mercy to the prophets, the hopeful elect, the 144,000, and to the men and women of the 12 lost tribes of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. Shalom. Back with another lesson. I'll title this one Justice. Justice for the afflicted and needy. Justice for the afflicted and needy. Call halal Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWAHSHI. Call halal Yamla Alahaya Nawa Abanawa Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWAHSHI. It's something that's on my spirit, and as the title reads, justice for the afflicted and needy. And we know who the afflicted and needy is, the poor, which is Jacob, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the Lord's chosen people, the Hebrew Israelites who have been scattered and enslaved, imprisoned. And, here it is. This is the hopeful year of our deliverance of Esau's destruction, which is the so-called white folks. And in this supposedly 2025 here in April, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, you Israelites, we have been. This is the worst time as far as our nation ever, as far as our the behavior, just spiritually dead. We are beaten down in captivity. The behavior of our people is just it's horrible, man. It's horrible. It's horrible. Our people, a good majority of our people are into, they're into everything, man. All kinds of idolatry, spiritual fornication. And the more we are left here in this place, the U.S., the further our people draw away from the Lord. They wax worse, and the statistics are they're overwhelming, because it tells you that the so-called blacks, the Negroes, we are incarcerated in this place 5 times more than the so-called white folks. And then after that is the so-called Hispanic and Native American Indian. And we are, as a collective, as a whole, the you Israelites, we are the most impoverished here in the U.S. A good majority of us live below poverty level, and barely make 20,000 a year, man. I mean, the Lord. I'm gonna get to the scriptures, but the Lord really did do a number on us, man. He gave us unto our enemies, and they have just they have did a number. But ultimately, Esau Edom, the so-called a white man. You see. Let me go here. Call halal Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWAHSHI, and we got to get out of here, man. And we're watching the downfall of our enemies right now, because everything that's happening. This is the Lord. The Lord told you that He was going to destroy all those that came against Jerusalem. And we know Jerusalem is a people before a place, which is you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, the Lord's chosen people, the 12 lost tribes of Israel, you Hebrew Israelites. This is it. This is it. We're watching the downfall. All the division amongst the nations, the confusion, all the sloppiness. This is the Lord who's doing this because he's bringing them down. Them curses in Deuteronomy chapter 28 that was on us, they going on to the other nations. They're slowly but surely cleaving on to the other nations, man. Because we have just been, we have been beaten down, man. We have been beaten down. If it wasn't for the Lord, they would just do away with us, but they can't because we are. The Lord tell you in Scripture that we're peculiar people unto Him. We are His treasure. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. We have the victory already. We're gonna rule the world in righteousness for eternity, man. This is it for our people. This is it. It's tribulation coming, and the Lord is coming back to deliver the elect out of His people because a good majority of our people they don't want to turn back to the Lord. So the Lord gonna have to put them out of their misery, and they gonna have to return back in the kingdom through His elect through marriage, which is sex, and be brought back into your right mind. And it's gonna be royalty forever, for eternity. We're gonna rule everything, have dominion, royalty, rulership forever, eternity. Right along with our Savior, our King, Yahawah, BAHASHAM, YAHAWAHSHI, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Let me go here. I've been rambling. 1 Corinthians 1. 1 Corinthians 1 and 27, and it reads, it says, but the Lord hath chosen the foolish. See? But the Lord hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. See? The Lord has chosen the shame, the shameful, the lowly, to confound the wise. Those that think that they know everything, the high mighty, the proud, they think they got it all figured out. It says, but the Lord hath chosen the foolish things of the world to confound the wise. And the Lord hath chosen the weak things of the world to confound the things which are mighty. And we know, you Israelites, man, we are, we're a worm, man. We our power comes from heaven. But, right now, we don't have no military. You so-called Negroes and Native American Indians, we don't, and you Latinos, we don't have no big time military, of our own. We don't have that. We don't got all this weaponry and things like that. We don't dictate Congress and policy. We don't have that, man. I just told you about the statistics, that how impoverished and incarcerated we are, broken families, barely make 15,000 a year, 16, 17,000 a year, working these low, bummy, crummy jobs with sluggish wages. Family and friends been gunned down. Some of our people are off drugs, aunties and uncles and cousins. We are just, we've been beat down, but the Lord is He's chosen, starting with His men, His prophets, to speak this word. And it holds weight because the statistics are overwhelming. They reign true. And in this place, America is supposed to be democracy, and that is one is freedom of speech to to speak out against the unrighteousness. There's no democracy here because they're removing our videos, and all we're doing is reading the Bible, reading what the Lord's word. These are not our words. We're speaking the Lord's words out of this holy Bible, but they're removing our channels and in our lessons because we're speaking the Lord's word, the truth. See, and they can't do nothing about it. And they call us the prophets bums, and you know they call it hate speech and low lifes, and we all everything, all the names. See, for speaking the Lord's word. But I tell you, men love darkness rather than light. Let me go here. But our people have been beat down, man. Let me go here. Isaiah, call hello, Yahawah BAHASHAM YAHAWAHSHI. Isaiah, we are the most talented, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, an extraordinary people. The best food, the best music, the way we talk, the way we dress. We are the salt of the earth. Isaiah 42. I'll go Isaiah 42 and 22. Isaiah 42 and 22, it says, but this is a people, see? But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. This is Jake all day. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, you tribes. It says they are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. And who makes up, the majority incarcerated in these county jails and prison houses is the tribes, our people. The numbers don't lie. Uncles, aunties, cousins, all doing time, years. Dads, moms, even grandfathers, grandmas, doing time. But this is where Jake is. A lot of our people in the prisons, prison houses. It says they are for a prey. Yeah, they are for a prey, and none delivereth. See, it says, and none delivereth for a spoil, and none saith restore. Yeah, these none of these nations are speaking out for us and saying, give these people back their land, restore them back in their land. None of these nations coming out like that. They're trying to continue to keep us down. See, it says who among you will give ear to this? Who gonna listen to these lessons, man? Who among you will give ear to this? These other nations ain't hearing this. They don't want to listen to this, man. Who among you will give ear to this? Who will hearken and hear for the time to come? Huh? It says, who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? The Lord did. It says, who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? It says, did not the Lord, he against whom have sinned? See, the Lord did this. Why? Because our people going back to the wilderness when the Lord with Moses and our forefathers, our people, he chose us, but and made a promise, a blood covenant, a promise with our people. You are my people, and I am your power forever. And our forefathers broke that promise, and the Lord said, I'm going to scatter you into all nations of the world, and you are going to be hated amongst your enemies. See? And none can deliver except me, the Lord. And this is what's didn't happen. So he didn't let these nations whoop our ass, and they have authority over us and dictate policy in Congress, and we can't do nothing about it. And what do our people do? They wanna protest to the enemy. No justice, no peace, no shit. But do they want to turn back to the Lord? Nope. They continue to protest. Every time you get gunned down, every time somebody gets in prison or beaten up by the police, you want to protest to them. But you're not coming back to the Lord. You're not asking the Lord. So the Lord, and then you're all into all type of abominations, our people. Still to this day, it's the worst right now with Jake. But the time is winding down. This is why we got one more tail whooping to go to, and this is for 2/3 of the Lord's people. Because the Lord told you He's not going to know one wicked person. The word is went out. This is a grace period. There is absolutely no reason you can say, oh, I didn't know that I was an Israelite. I didn't know about the Lord and his name, because it's all over social media. It's all over the internet. It's all out there in the streets. The Hebrew Israelites, we have shooken up everything, man, because it's the truth. The Hebrew Israelites have shooken up everything because this is the spirit of the Lord. We are sighing and crying and bringing out this 1,000% truth across the world, man. Starting here at Great Millstone with the apostles on down, we are bringing out the 144% truth. There is absolutely no reason. Jake is still able to get a job, a home, feed their family, live with some type of good, but a lot of our people still ignore the Lord. See? And do wickedly. It says, who gave Jacob for a spoil and Israel to the robbers? Did not the Lord, he against whom we have sinned? It says, for they would not walk in his ways, neither were they obedient unto his law. It says, therefore hath poured upon him the fury of his anger and the strength of battle, and it has set him on fire round about, yet he knew not, and it burned him, yet he laid it not to heart. Right, our people, all this trouble, all this unrighteousness that's been done to our people, they still don't. A lot of our people are just lost. They don't know. It's the Lord doing this. And here it is, the Lord has set up the prophets, his men out of his people, to come and warn and tell our people, you need to get right with the Lord, man, because on the danger in this tribulation, the judgment that's going to start with a good majority of his people and on down to the other nations that's coming, to get right. This is why the Lord has been doing this, putting you in prison, breaking up your families, can't, having these financial crises and broken homes. I mean, it just totally just messed up, man. This is the Lord who's doing this. He's the one who's done this. And it's more clear than ever to come back to him. But let me go here. Revelation. But we in the end, and the Lord has a remnant and elect starting out of his people that he's waking up, man. Revelation 11. Revelation 11 and 9, and it reads, it says, and they of the people and kindreds of tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves, not physically, but spiritually. And that's that 350 days, 350 years that our people, we just been spiritually dead, man. Our people don't know who we are. It says, 10, it says, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another, because these two prophets, and who are the two prophets? Judah and Israel, the northern and southern kingdom. These two prophets tormented them that dwelt on the earth. It says 11, and after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Lord entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. See, and this is what's then happened. The Lord has put the spirit on the particular men out of His people, the prophets, to in the end here to bring out this word, and can't nobody stop this, because this is the truth that's coming out of the Hebrew Israelites, the ones that have been beaten down and been thrown in these prisons and mocked and laughed, because the nations they see this, man, and they're like, these cannot be the people. The ones that live in the ghettos, the ones that are that walk around with their pants sagging, and look how they behave. These people are just far gone. There's no way these are the people. But in the end here, we're bringing this word out, and it's stirring it up. And they don't have an answer, because it is true. Let me go here. It's true. Romans, I'll close out with this. Romans 9. Romans 9 and 26. Romans 9 and 26, and it reads, it says, and it shall come to pass that in the place where it was said unto them, ye are not my people, there shall they be called the children of the living power. Shalom.